I'm the one who's bad. It's not you. All right? I'm sorry for lying to you. I lied. I stole. And worse. You can be better than me.
And that's a clip from Destroyer, and I'm delighted to say that we've been joined by Nicole Kidman, who is the star of the movie and is in every shot, I think, pretty much. Hello, Nicole. How are you?
I'm good.
When you walked in, I have to say I was sort of reassured to see that you're looking well, having just seen the film, you know. Why don't you tell the story of the film, and then we'll talk about what you look like, because it is astonishing. So tell us about Erin Bell.
The film is about a woman who's on this path of, I suppose, atonement, but she's a cop. She was an undercover cop when she started, when she was very young, and she made some bad choices, and you see where that's led her. So I play her younger, and then I play her 17 years later. It's a definite stretch for me, but I wanted to jump off the cliff and try something sort of dangerous and bold, and work with the director her name's Corinne Kasama. She directed a film called Girl Fight, which was very kind of groundbreaking for its time. And I just wanted to, I'm always trying to find new places to go. You know, it's obviously in that genre mold, but usually these characters are played by men as well.
Yes, I think that was one of the first things I thought after about 10 or 15 minutes. This is the kind of role which 2 years ago would have gone to a guy.
Yeah.
A grizzled alcoholic
Yes.
cop on the path to ruin. That's going to be a man, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you read the script, what did you think?
I mean, there's a very female essence to her, in the sense of a lot of her choices are made because she gets pregnant and she's a mother. And then the emotional core of it is about a mother trying to say, you can have a better life than mine. Don't make the choices I've made, which I think is actually a very relatable theme.
This is to her 16-year-old daughter.
Yeah, she now has a 16-year-old daughter. You see her when she discovers that she's going to have a child, when she's the undercover cop, and she and her lover are together then. And then as the film unwinds, it's also got an unusual twist to it, which I love.
It does, which we
love
won't-
a twist.
which we can't
Can't
which we
reveal.
can't talk about. But just to go back to the very beginning, when we see Erin Bell in we do like the first 5-10 minutes of the movie, what does she look like? What do we make of what we see?
I think you see a woman who's just been destroyed by her past, and physically, emotionally, spiritually, there's just wreckage. And I think it's a fantastic thing to get your teeth into as an actor, but it's a really tough place to go and have it vibrate and be real, and for it to be coming out through your pores, you know. And we were in the process of sort of very scrappy filmmaking, where it's the streets of LA. It's very tough. It's a tough film.
When you saw the script for the first time,
I actually cried. I cried because I read it and I didn't know where it was going. And then when it finally hit me at the end, it was very emotional. I just found it where it takes you off guard. It's like, what? I didn't expect to feel that. That's probably because of the relationship between the mother and the daughter. There's a fantastic image in it where she's sort of carrying her daughter on her back. And I find that, and her daughter's 4 years old and they're lost. And she's sort of trying to trek her way through the snow in the woods.
did you know how far this role would take you? I mean, you said it was a stretch.
No.
Did you know quite what a stretch it was going to be? When you
I
said
didn't.
yes?
I didn't. I'm not sure if I would have said yes, knowing I have not been in every frame of a film for a very long time. I mean, so many of the choices I make in life, if I actually knew what it was going to be, I probably wouldn't have jumped in. So part of my flaw and my virtue is that I just jump into things. I have an enormous amount of trust as a person.
When you were on the show 4 years ago for Before I Go to Sleep, you were talking then about taking risks.
Right.
So would you say this film is a risk?
I don't see it as a risk. Isn't that funny? I just see it as a fantastic character and something that and the opportunity to support a female director and to have a female at the center of a story, which is always good. Probably if I step out of myself and look at it, I go, yeah, there is risk there, but I'm up for the challenge. I'm always up for things. I have that kind of let's go nature.
Kerry Mulligan was on the show a few weeks ago talking about wildlife,
Right.
and she was talking then about how rare it is still to
Such
see.
a brave actress. I
Yes.
saw her on stage in New York in Girls and Boys.
She's
right?
she is fantastic.
Yeah.
But she was saying how, because the character that she plays there is, she's a woman with flaws, very obviously a woman with flaws, and she said it's still not that common, and if the flaws are really pronounced, then people don't like it. So she was just saying, it's refreshing to do that. I'm guessing that's kind of the same reaction that you had playing Erin Bell.
I think I've probably played flawed women my whole life. What does that say about me? Yeah, but that's human beings, isn't it? I mean, it would be lovely if we could just look at everything with rose-coloured glasses and have everything be shiny and beautiful. But I think it almost brings us closer when we allow human beings to struggle and to show all the facets of their nature. And I think it also makes people feel not so alone, or hopefully it does. It certainly makes me feel that way.
This is the kind of role that you take home?
Yeah.
It seems like she seems like such a heavy
Yeah.
character, and you disappear into this role. In fact, I would think, if someone walks in after 10 minutes and they start watching, they might not, for a while, they might not even recognize that it's Nicole Kidman in this movie. I mean, I think that's the extent to which you disappear into this, but she has a lot in her head. We are traveling this road with her, and I'm not an actor at all, but I imagine it's the kind of role that's difficult just to shrug off when you go home.
There's certain roles, Big Little Lies was another one, where it just seeps into your consciousness and it is just there with you until it's done. And that definitely happened playing this role, and it's like you're carrying the weight of her. It's like having a monkey on your back in a way.
Reminded me.
But I'm willing to do that. I mean, that's what you do as an actor. Not always. Sometimes there's a different approach, and all directors require a different set of skills and an emotional commitment to things. But this particular role, the only way I could do it really was to stay in character, because otherwise I felt like I was performing, and that
So you stayed in
did
character?
not feel. I did on the set, yeah. Not when I went home, and not
that would have
to the
been
point
tough.
people calling me Erin, but in terms of it just always being there and being a part of my world and my existence for that period of time, yes, I couldn't just walk away. So, as I could say when I was doing Paddington.
Yes. Well, in fact, when you just on that, when we spoke on that slight change of subject, but as you mentioned Paddington in that interview that we did a few years ago, you said you did it and you wanted your kids to be able to go and see it, and then you realised that they couldn't actually go and see it because of the knife throwing and so on. Have they seen it yet? I imagine
They have seen it.
They have.
They were mortified that I was trying to hurt the bear.
Forgiven?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. The children of people who are actors, they see a lot, and I think their imaginations really get stoked very early. So they now create stories, and I think there's been a villain in one of their small films who throws a few knives, obviously pretend knives.
Obviously, pretend knives. Do they get to
The
see?
villain's always the fun one.
Do they get to see
As
Aquaman?
my daughters say. They haven't seen Aquaman yet, but they will. They were on the set watching Aquaman shoot, which was fantastic for them. They got to see how the special effects and learn. I mean, a lot of what they're privy to is all the behind the scenes, and so they have a lot of knowledge now of filmmaking.
You've mentioned a couple of times the director of Destroyers, Karen Kusama.
Yeah.
And you have set yourself a goal for the number of women directors that you want to work with, as I understand it, and you seem to be keeping up that tally.
I just feel that there's not enough of them. I mean, that statistically it's proven, and to help make a change with that, it requires people, particularly people like me, who can sometimes say, this person should direct this, or I'm going to support this film, or I'll make this film because it's being directed by a woman. Obviously, I have to believe in the material and the character and want to do it. It can't just be for the sake of that alone. But I would very much like to see the statistics change in my lifetime, where it becomes more even. I mean, it really is. I think it's still only, I'm not exactly sure, but it was 4%. Maybe it's a little bit more now, but in terms of directing feature films, really bad.
Yes.
Right?
But does it feel as though there has been a change in the last 12 months, or is it really still at the bottom
I
of
think
the
in
hill?
television there's more female directors right now. Obviously, Andrea Arnold has directed Big Little Lies for us, all 7 hours of it, which is a huge accomplishment. But at the same time, you know, there's still, when you look at the feature film statistics and just in general, it's still nowhere near even. So let's try to all change that.
And is it true for the next series of Big Little Lies, is it true that Meryl Streep actually got in touch with you and kind of wrote herself into the story?
No, she didn't write herself in. She actually was such a huge fan of the series and really understood it on a deep sort of level, and particularly sort of reached out about Celeste and domestic abuse. And so Leanne Moriarty came in and wrote a sort of a 200-page novella for the second series for us. And in that, she wrote a character called Mary Louise, which happens to be Meryl Streep's real name. So there was a subliminal message there to Meryl from Leanne. And then Leanne did say, the only thing I want for season 2 is Meryl Streep. I was like, not a chance, Leanne. And then before you know it, there she is supporting us. So we're very lucky to have her.
And I think after Destroyer, we see you in Boy Erased.
That's right,
Is
yes.
that the next one?
Yes, I play a supporting role in that as the mother in this family who are dealing with their son who is homosexual, and the parents decide that the right thing to do would be to take him to conversion therapy. So.
And you're married to Russell Crowe, and I think he was quoted as saying he's waited a long time to be married to you.
Did he say that?
Yes. Yes, he did.
Keep waiting.
Exactly. No, he's got a long time to wait. Destroyer is the new movie from Nicole Kidman. Nicole, thank you very much indeed. Nice to talk to you again.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.